Hello there, and here we have some completed Irondrakes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about any issues you may have while assembling them and then how I painted them. So first of all, when you're putting them together, keep in mind they are quite bulky for a 20mm base. You can see they stick out quite a bit at the front there. So if you've done them like I did, where they're actually looking forwards, when you rank them up there will be a little bit of a gap, otherwise they will be poking each other's rear ends, which some of you might be happy with. Some of you might prefer that they actually sit right up close to each other like so, in which case you'll have to turn them to a slight angle so they're not looking quite so directly forward. But that's how I want mine, so I'm happy with that little gap because I'm only going to be having 2 ranks, so they'll be fine on a little movement tray. Another thing, the musician, you'll want to be careful with him because he's not the same as the rest. All the others have virtually exactly the same pose, so they're easy to put next to each other as long as you keep the spacing on the base consistent. But the musician, he is different because he has different equipment obviously, so it is possible that you could put him slightly too far to one side and get somebody's elbows poking him. So you have to be very careful to make sure you line him up as narrow as possible on his base. Another thing you'll want to consider when painting them, you'll probably want to do what I did, which is paint them with the guns not attached. I had this arm here attached, but this arm with the gun, I painted that separately, just so I could paint underneath there between the gun and the body. Otherwise that would be quite a difficult spot to reach. The actual models themselves are very, very nice. They've got very nice detail on them, especially on the armour. There's some very subtle detail that you can barely see a lot of the time. So I'm going to try and get the perfect zoom here so we can see them a little clearer. There we go. Now as you can see, they are very, very nice models indeed. They've got some really nice detail on them. The beard protectors make them very easy to paint as well, because normally on a heavily armoured dwarf, really the only bit that's going to take you any time whatsoever, if you paint like I do, is the beard. Because the rest of it is just going to be metal and then washes, for the most part. That's the way I do armour, and I'm sure a lot of other people do it that way. So no real beards to speak of on these. With the armour plates, I was trying to imitate the box art, which has a slight hint of blue on the actual gromril plates on the armour. But I was testing out different products, different washes, and I couldn't find one that actually looked good. They all made it look kind of cloudy and splotchy, and if I watered it down too much, then it didn't have the level of effect that I was going for. It wasn't strong enough. Even multiple coats of watered down wash wasn't really doing what I wanted. And somebody told me that maybe I should try putting gloss varnish over the model and then washing it. And that was on my to-do list. But before that I tried the new Citadel glaze paints. I believe it's called Gyrobomber blue, something like that. But I just applied that directly over mithril silver in 2 coats, and I think it came out looking very, very, very nice indeed. Because it's kind of transparent, you can tell that it's metallic underneath, and it's an even coat as well. It's a smooth coat. If it is bunched up anywhere, it's because that's the way you pull it with the brush. It doesn't just naturally cause a ridiculous cloudy effect like certain washes do. So you can control it very well with it being a glaze paint, I've found. And I think they look very, very nice with that. I don't know what you guys think, but tell me what you think of them anyway, because I need validation for my talents. As you can see, they're all based in the classic green flock, so they match the rest of my army. Not because I think it's some revolutionary basing technique. I'm fully aware that it hasn't really been popular since the mid-90s. But I'm clinging to my old ways just so I don't have to rebase an entire army. The next thing I'm going to be moving on to is the Gyrobomber, which I have on the other side of the room waiting to be primed. So I'll probably show you how that looks when it's finished as well. I had 1 or 2 issues assembling that, which I will show you when I get round to it. Nothing too serious, I think it was just me being retarded more than anything. Anyway, I shall catch you next time. Ta-ta for now.